This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Sick chain, jumping in the Porsche in the 6 lane. I'm big fish, I'm big game. Chrome on, big flame. I'm pulling out with a sick chain, jumping in the Porsche in the 6 lane. I'm big fish, I'm big game. Hit him with the chrome hard and the big flame. I'ma beat it feeling like I'm Big Bang. Execute a small, that's big brain. So I been looking hard, that's dripping. So that has been traded to the 60. I get a dollar, you with me. Now y'all gotta sell kidneys, but that is a shame, it's a pity. The sell to the pep that was shitty, but now you a fam and you wanna hit me. Honestly, dog, I think you are tripping. Follow me now like it's a religion. Hey, you chasing your vision. Hey, you look for additions. Honestly, man, you should've listened. Case goes down.
LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it. I know it. We all know it. It doesn't matter who the host is. What matters is who the listeners are. There is no doubt about that. And I think we've spoken about that since day numero uno. Anyways, today is Tuesday, June the 13th of, of 2023. Is that how it goes? Day 164th of the year, and only 201 days left to go. Anyways, how are you? How have you been over the last 24 hours or so? Because it's definitely been at least that since we last spoke. So I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Stop what you are doing. Radio Big is in the mix.
Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big. You know, they pick up hour number 2 and 3 of the J. Allen in the Morning Show, which is really this versionality of this show, except that during the first hour of this bad boy, we start talking mostly about safety in the news, so just in case. So there you go. That's what Hank goes on there. So as I love to talk about, because I think people need to know, if you want to take a gander what the hell we're doing and want to do the visual aspect of this, you can do so. But mostly keep in mind that we are a radio show first and a streamer-eamer followed up by that. So if you want to take a look at what we're doing, you can go to radiobig.fm or go to safetyfm.com. Click on the sections that say visual radio, or you can take a look at the different social media aspects that are available and out there to take a look at what the hell we have going on. So there you go. Some different things, some different options, some different choices for you to take a gander on what we're doing. If you want to interact with the show, it's easy to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will allow you to get moving and grooving and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do around here. So no problem about that. As the world of setup goes, as we are talking. So keep that in mind as we are moving and grooving. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, let's do this. Let's start talking right away about what the hell was trending in the overnight, because I think that is going to be important.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so taking a look around, bad news for food delivery favorite, and a Spider-Man wannabe gets busted. We'll talk about that. Floyd Mayweather has been threatened by the grandkids of the mob boss John Gotti. Sylvester Stallone says that Arnold Schwarzenegger is the better action hero, and Nick Cannon calls out 50 Cent's weight. We'll talk about Pat Sajak retiring. Fox News wants Tucker Carlson to shut down his new Twitter show. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. And we'll talk about things that are going on inside of the world of safety. But as we go into this stuff, I guess I should probably make reference to this. You know, I normally don't talk about what we're going to talk during the main story until we get to the main story. So don't worry, because we'll do that again and not talk about it. Because yesterday was the first time that I had done that in a long time, and then something ended up happening where we ended up dropping and going into something entirely different. See how it's better not to talk about what the hell you're going to talk about? That way you always have kind of like a out. Always have an out is what I like to tell people. It's the easiest and most creative way on being able to do some of those things. That is for sure. So with that being said, let's do this. Why don't we bring in the professionals? Yes, the professional broadcasters that hang out with us and tell us everything that is going on inside of the world of news and sometimes in entertainment, depending on what hour you're taking a listen to. So we'll bring in the newscasters, let them tell you everything that's going on, and then we'll go from there and start doing the trickle down. Isn't that what everybody wants to talk about, the trickle down? So we'll do the trickle down in regards to what else is going on inside of the world of the news. What do you think? You like the idea? Good. Yes. Love it. Want it. Do it. Yes. Let's do all of that stuff because I think it's going to be important.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The White House says President Biden wants to make sure his administration does not politicize the Department of Justice.
He's restoring certainly the integrity of the Department of Justice, and that is something that's important to this president.
Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters Biden respects the agency's independence and the rule of law. Those comments come after the federal indictment of former President Trump for allegedly refusing to return classified materials he took with him upon leaving the White House in 2021. Trump and his allies have claimed the indictment is politically motivated and accused the Justice Department under Biden of targeting a political rival, as Trump leads in most 2024 Republican primary polls. The administration has avoided commenting directly on the indictment. Miami's mayor is promising residents and visitors the city is ready for whatever happens today as Trump arrives at the federal courthouse for his arraignment.
In our city, we obviously believe in the Constitution and believe that people should have the right to express themselves. But we also believe in law and order. And we know that, and we hope that tomorrow will be peaceful.
Mayor Francis Suarez says the city is used to handling large crowds and there will be enough law enforcement and fire rescue on duty. The city is taking a unified command approach with local, state, and federal partners under the same roof. As of this time, the police chief reiterates there are no credible threats. The Denver Nuggets are NBA champions. Fans have taken over the city streets in celebration.
Oh, this is the best feeling, and to be celebrating with everybody here. Let's go! Family, friends, my cousins.
The Nuggets took down the Miami Heat in Game 5 of the Finals Monday night in Denver to capture the franchise's first title. Star big man Nikola Jokic led the way with 28 points in the closeout win. He was also awarded Finals MVP. It's the first ever NBA title for the franchise. Stock futures are ticking higher ahead of a May inflation report. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. Donald Trump is due in a Miami court later to be arraigned in an unprecedented criminal case. The former US president faces 37 federal charges. The first public hearings are taking place in the UK today in the COVID-19 inquiry, examining how prepared the country was for a pandemic. And authorities in the Philippines are preparing further evacuations from areas around the foot of Mount Mayon as the volcano looks increasingly likely to erupt.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
White House says China has had a spy base in Cuba since at least 2019, and Beijing's efforts to expand its intelligence gathering are ongoing. Aaron Real reports.
Based on newly declassified intelligence, it appears China and Cuba have reached an agreement to build an electronic eavesdropping station on the island. Officials said that China planned to pay Cuba billions of dollars as part of the agreement. Using Cuba, only 100 miles off the coast of Florida as a base, could provide eavesdropping access to U.S. military and commercial communications in the southeast region where dozens of U.S. military bases are located. In a statement, the White House said the U.S. has taken diplomatic and other steps to, quote, slow down the Chinese government in Cuba and around the world.
J.P. Morgan Chase is agreeing to settle a lawsuit that alleges the bank of helping facilitate Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking enterprise. Lisa G. reports.
The settlement would resolve a lawsuit filed in federal court by an unidentified woman last year. She claimed Chase turned a blind eye towards Epstein's conduct. It also alleged that the banking giant didn't comply with federal laws for years when it provided services to him. Epstein was charged with sex trafficking, among other charges, when he was found dead in his cell in 2019.
Longtime Wheel of Fortune host Pat Sajak is planning to retire next year after more than 40 years on the popular TV game show. More from Brian Shook.
He made the announcement in a tweet Monday saying the upcoming 41st season will be his last. The 76-year-old said it's been a wonderful ride, adding that he'll have more to say in the coming months. Sajak started on Wheel of Fortune back in 1981 alongside co-host Vanna White. The show's 41st season is set to begin in September. I'm Brian Shook.
And actor Treat Williams has died. He was 71. He was a star of Everwood and Hair. He died Monday afternoon in a motorcycle accident. I'm Michael Kastner.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Hey, Dad. Your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad. Your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey. Why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. So let's start talking right away about what the hell was going on according to the shit list, because that's exactly what we need to talk about. Apple's announcement about the forthcoming, Vision Pro VR headset caused plenty of excitement and buzz last week, with also plenty of mockery for the $3,499 price tag. Bloomberg reports that Apple is already working on a solution to that and has plans to roll out a simpler version for a lower price, though, of course, no details yet on the less powerful version would mean in terms of the experience quality. Worth noting, this makes sense for Apple, which slaps the Pro label on the higher-end offerings like the MacBook versus the MacBook Pro. This is all via Mashable, so keep that in mind. But I think that there's been some slight confusion to an extent, because remember that when this thing was announced was at the Worldwide Developers Conference. So this is mostly designed for developers, for them to focus on developing, for them to have something to use towards the future. So I don't know where a lot of the confusion's coming about, but it just seems to be one of those things where people are like, oh no, this is what's going on. But think about it. If it is a Worldwide Developers Conference, why in the hell would you think that this is supposed to be general audience? And I know that one can argue, well, wasn't Tim Cook on Good Morning America? Well, yeah, he was. So yes, apparently they want to talk about it. But here's another odd thing. If you really think about this, you know that when the Apple Watch rolled out, Tim Cook came out, Apple Watch, showing it, flashing it, blah, 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 blah. But it was interesting to see that when they rolled out and talked about this headset, that no one, and I mean no one from Apple, actually had the damn thing on that was an executive or a presenter. It was only the people on the video.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying.
He is trying to be entertaining.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this. Food delivery service Grubhub is downsizing its workforce to the tune of 400 jobs, representing about 15% of its workforce. The app has a notorious lag behind competition, between Uber Eats and DoorDash. Post-pandemic malice likely has helped their bottom line. Either hasn't helped it at all, I would assume. Worth remembering, Grubhub was purchased for $7.3 billion in an all-stock deal in 2021 by Dutch holding company. So keep that in mind. This is all coming via NBC News. Oh, NBC. So there you go. Officials in South Korea have detained a man in his 20s for scaling the outside of a 123-story building in Seoul on Monday. George King Thompson, a British native, was stopped by officials on the gondola-style lift And as he reached the 72nd floor, when they pulled him inside, King Thompson reportedly told him that he was going to base jump from the top. He even had a parachute in a backpack. Worth noting, the Lotto Tower, he tried to scale in the 5th tallest skyscraper in the world at 1,820 feet. This is according to the Associated Press. So let me make sure that I understand this. You were scaling the side of a building 123 stories. You made it to the 72nd story to jump off the damn thing? Talk about thrill seeker. What do you think, huh? What do you think?
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the New York Mets have asked fans to name their new teammate, an 11-week-old black Labrador veteran service dog. How is it 11-week-old? Really? Okay, so there you go. Over 6,000 votes were cast for the name Homer, Scott, and Seaver. And the winner is Seaver. The Mets are the first MLB team to welcome the future service dog and have raised $100,000 for a nonprofit, America's Vet Dog, which pairs puppies and veterans with first responders with disabilities. This is according to the New York Post. So there you go. Let's talk about something a little bit closer to home because I think that's going to be important. Beachgoers in Destin, Florida were shocked when a black bear, initially thought to be a dog, waddled its way to the ocean over the weekend. While those nearby were stunned to see the animal, the bear seemed to be totally at ease with the crowd on the beach. One eyewitness filmed the bear taking a swim and walking up the beach as stunned onlookers watched fearlessly. As a person could be heard in the background yelling in the clip, "It's a bear! It's a bear!" I mean, it's all online. That's almost everything is these days. So you can take a look-see around and see what's going on over there. If you care to do so, of course. You don't have to, only if you care to do so. So keep that in mind. So let's talk real quick about some other things. And what are those other things consisting of? Well, let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us a little bit about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, June 13th, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets advanced Tuesday, adding nearly 1% to the S&P 500 despite inflation data and the FOMC threat. The move means that hot inflation and a hawkish Fed are priced into the market, but there is a risk. The risk is that the market participants are mispricing the outlook, and the news could be bracing. As it is, economists expect core CPI to hold steady on a month-to-month basis and to subside 0.2% to 5.3% year over year, numbers that should keep interest rates high through the end of the year, if not longer. The S&P 500 is in melt-up mode. The index has moved above the 4,300 level and is on track to retest an all-time high set during the peak of the stimulus bubble. The move could result in a new all-time high, although there is little reason for one. However, investors looking to ride this rally should be cautious because the second half may not be as good as expected. You can get the inside track at MarketBeatMinute.com.
That's what she said. Anyways, let's see. 22 minutes past. Thank you, John Smalls, for the information on what is going on inside of the world of the market. So let's talk about this. The Dow added about 189 points to close at 34,066 on Monday. The S&P added about 40 points to close at 4,388. And the NASDAQ added 202 points to close at 13,461. Let's see. West Texas Intermediate closed at $67 a barrel, and Brent crude closed at $72 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.59 on Monday, and Bitcoin was trading around 25,900 on Monday. There was more than 5,890 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Monday, with about 510 cancellation. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $260 million jackpot, or $134.3 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. So what do you think? Do you like it? Not like it? Think about it? Consider it? There you go. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk about some other things that are going on. One Virginia school board voted to, in some temporary changes. Take a listen to what Rebecca Hughes has to say.
The Virginia Beach School Board names an interim superintendent. The board voted Monday night for Dr. Donald Robertson, the district's chief of staff, to temporarily fill the top position vacated by former Superintendent Aaron Spence. 13 News Now reports the school board will work with an outside firm to conduct a nationwide search for the permanent joint replacement in the coming months. I'm Rebecca Hughes.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca, for the info. So what do you think if you're in that area? I would imagine you're affected. If you're outside of it, you're probably looking at me and why the hell am I talking about this, right? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. What do you think?
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's take a listen to this. A small amount of alcohol may benefit your heart by easing stress to the brain. Mark Mayfield explained.
Researchers say they're not advertising for people to drink because alcohol also raises the risk of cancer. But instead, the study suggests that understanding the process could help us find healthier ways to get the same benefit, like through meditation or exercise. Some larger studies in the past have shown that those who drink moderately have lower risks of heart attacks and strokes compared to those who don't drink alcohol at all and to those who drink more. Senior author of the study, Dr. Ahmed Tawakoy, said that's due to the relaxing effect of alcohol before feeling buzzed. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Before feeling buzzed. So hold on. So my options here is that I can either, let me make sure I understood this. I can either go through the process of drinking alcohol or I can meditate. I wonder which one most people will pick.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so take a listen to this. One person is dead after a tour boat capsized in western New York on Monday morning. NBC's Jesse Kirch has more info.
Police are trying to figure out how a tourist attraction along the Erie Canal turned deadly. In Lockport, New York, near Buffalo, authorities saying a boat with 29 adults on board somehow flipped over in a cave, leaving one person dead with 11 more sent to the hospital.
So at least 16 people were on the flat bottom boat on Lockport Cave and had to be rescued while the others managed to get out of the water by themselves and are recovering. Lockport Fire Chief Luca Gualano says that a man of 60 years of age was trapped under the boat and died.
And it did take some time to get him recovered and back to a safe location. Unfortunately, he had succumbed to his injuries.
So there you go. Terrible news to hear about that going on. There is no doubt about that as we are talking. Take a listen to this. The federal judge overseeing former President Trump's arraignment is denying a request for footage of the hearing. More from Mark Mayfield.
Members of the media will be prohibited from bringing cell phones or other electronic devices into the Miami courthouse. Trump was indicted last week on 37 felony counts connected to the handling of classified documents. After the arraignment, the former president is expected to head to his golf club in New Jersey, where he's scheduled to deliver remarks in the evening. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Hold on. Did they say New Jersey? I mean, I guess that's a hell of a trade. You're going to be if you're going to be from one to the other. I mean, hey, I don't know. I'm just asking the question here in regards to what's going on. It's going to be, I think today will be interesting to see what the hell comes out of there. There is no doubt about that. What do you think? Have you given any thought to this? I mean, I think there's a lot going on. No doubt. I mean, let's just be realistic. Anyways, the owner of the collapsed Davenport apartment building will pay a $300 citation issued by the city. Yeah, I did say that correctly. $300 citation. Take a listen.
Andrew Wald's attorney, Jack O'Brien, appeared in court Monday on behalf of Wald and his company, Davenport Hotels, LLC, entering a guilty plea to the charge of failure to maintain the building in a safe, sanitary, and structurally sound condition. The building collapsed May 28th, killing 3 men. I'm Andrew Haupt.
I really hope that there's a thousand kind of that was left off, because a $300 citation just does not sound right. I mean, I'm just saying, let's just be realistic. Let's be realistic and call it for what it is and not anything else, because that is just some craziness as we are talking for sure. Anyways, take a listen to this. Chicago police brass are addressing the violence that hit the city over the weekend. The interim police superintendent, Fred Waller, said that the department saw what changes need to be made and where they need additional resources. Take a listen.
We're applying what we learned these past few weeks to our operations moving forward so we can continuously improve.
Authorities say that 31 people were shot over the weekend, including 4 who died. Waller did praise his officers for the peaceful Puerto Rican festival, which was the Puerto Rican parade that happened over the weekend. So there you go. Some stuff going on there. Keeping it in Illinois real quick, Governor Pritzker is using the office to spread the wisdom of the younger generation while delivering a commencement address at Northwestern University. The governor shared some practical advice that he learned from the Emmy Award-winning TV show.
Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing. Dwight Schrute.
Steve Carell, who played Michael Scott on the show, happened to be in attendance to celebrate his daughter's graduation from the university. Brisky also received an honorary Doctor's of Law degree. So there you go. I mean, think about that real quick. You go to a commencement speech, and all of a sudden they're talking about how you should apply some of the stuff from the TV show called The Office. You know that it could be pretty interesting as you go forward. And I know that The Office is still kind of popular if you watch Peacock. And use some pop culture references, but holy crap, how long has that show been off the air now? Like, seriously, I mean, I know it lives in syndication, but is that really the most popular way to go about it? Something to think about. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, do you still watch it? I mean, I know my oldest daughter still continues to watch that show over and over again because I guess that's just the thing to do, but this kind of makes it interesting as we are talking. Take a listen to this real quick. GOP presidential candidate and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie says that Donald Trump's federal indictment is bad for anyone, let alone the former president.
Put aside taking the documents in the first place. But then when you start getting asked in May of 21, nicely, with a letter from the archivist saying, could you please give them back? And you ignore it.
Christie spoke during CNN Town Hall on Monday where he said that the former president indictment is evidence-filled and with the facts of being devastating. He went to add on that the problems were self-inflicted and could have been avoided if Trump complied with the DOJ subpoena. Trump is set to appear in the court on today in Miami. GOP presidential candidate Chris Christie gives his insight of former President Trump's indictment and classified documents. Take a listen.
They come with a grand jury subpoena. And then, according to the indictment, you tell your lawyers, tell them we don't have anything, even though you have dozens and dozens of boxes of material. That's obstruction of justice if it's true.
I mean, let's talk about a couple of different things here. So Christie's talking about what's going on with the indictment of Trump. That's number one. So there you go. And it's going on during a CNN town hall. What I want you to think about real quick, wasn't the last time that CNN had a town hall? Wasn't it with Trump that it actually ended up taking place? And wasn't there like some big hoopla that ended up happening outside of that? I mean, I'm just saying, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page because it makes it pretty interesting relatively quick on how those things actually do go through. Let's think about that for a moment as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so why not do that thing that we do? Because it might be time to do so. And what are we talking about? Well, or what am I talking about? Because I am not a we. Well, we're talking about the main story, because what else would we be doing right now?
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's talk about some main story time. Let's talk about the stuff that we always want to address. Let's talk about the things that gets us excited in the day. Let's talk about the things that we move forward in this little industry of ours as we are talking, and that is about the world of safety. Seriously. You get up and do the work that you do, mostly if you listen to this show, because you're more than likely involved in some aspect of safety in the workplace. Now, let's not talk about personal safety. We can get into that. Some people might even say that it's self-defense, but let's leave that for another day. But we talk about this subject, and we interact with this subject, and we probably do this subject for work because of everything that we have going on. Seriously, there's just no other way around it. So with that being said, let's talk about this in a nutshell. And when I say that, I want to make sure that I reference this very precisely in regards to what I'm saying. Because some people get very confused on what the word safety means. So let's take a look at the dictionary, and let's take a look at the Oxford Language Dictionary in particular and go through that. So safety is a noun. The condition of being protected from unlikely cause of danger, risk, or injury. That's what safety means. That is the definition from the dictionary. What does safety mean to you personally? It means taking the time to recognize the hazards and taking the appropriate steps to protect yourself, your fellow workers, family, and friends. Everyone should develop the habit of thinking about safety during their work shift, on the way home, at home, or on vacation. I mean, so now we start getting into some different things. And I think that we have caused some confusion in the industry. And when I say we, I'm talking about you, and I'm talking about me, and I'm talking about the people that do this, because we have put in these other meanings to safety. We have put in these other variations of what they mean. And that has caused confusion throughout the industry. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, as we talk about the stuff that we talk about, that's what we're trying to eliminate is confusion. And maybe the breakdown is talking about some of this stuff in a nutshell, opposed to trying to be so generic when it comes to other things. So when you go through this whole thing, how do you look at safety? Do you use the definition from the dictionary? Or do you have your own, we'll say, quote unquote, versionality of it? Because if I go to like dictionary.com, I can go through this whole thing where it's like, the state of being safe is freedom from occurrence of risk, danger, and loss. The quality of averting and not causing injury and danger. I mean, there's just all kinds of different versions, but you can even go into football safety, like the position, just a little FYI. So as you look at this, what do you tell people? What do you tell people when you're talking about it? What is the definition that you use in your workplace that can be understood? Because listen, there's nothing wrong with being a safety nerd, a safety dork, a safety geek, whatever. A safety cop, you definitely don't want to be that, but that's a whole other story. But what do you want to be? How do you want to play on the same level with everyone else? Because I'm going to tell you, sitting down and saying, okay, I can give you quotation, blah, 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 from this book that says this, and that's what it is not going to get you far. If you ever want to be involved with a bad customer experience, go somewhere where they tell you our policy, as you being a customer, is this. That tells you almost immediately that the person you're interacting with does not probably know how to be very good in customer service. So if you apply some of those techniques to what you are going around talking about within the organization, that could have a huge impact of change. Think about it for a moment. Think about it for just one moment. What does that definition mean to you for the word safety? And this is a big and, if I go look for it and you're not around me, will it be logical without your presence? Seriously. Because if I have to go look for it, it means something entirely different than what you've been telling me. And it's not super easy to figure out how the hell you got to it. It's probably not going to get you very far. Think about that for a moment. It might drive you a little wild, but think about it.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, Go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Sick chain, jumping in the Porsche in the 6 lane. I'm big fish, I'm big game. Hit him with the crown hard in the big flame. I'ma be the feeling like I'm Big Bang. Execute a small, that's big brain. So I been looking hard, that's dripping. So that has been trade to the 60. I get $1, you with me. Now y'all gotta sell kidneys, but that is a shame, it's a pity. The sell to the Pepto was shitty, but now you a fan and you wanna hit me. All I see, dog, I think you are tripping. Follow me now, like it's a religion. Hey, you changing your vision. Hey, you look for additions. All I see, man, you should've listened. Case goes down, cause I'm on a mission. Come on, big flame. I'm pulling out with a sick chain. Jumping in the Porsche in the 6 lane. I'm big fish, I'm big game. Come on.
Oh, yes. Still taking a listen to the Rated R Safety Show. Still streaming, broadcasting, whatever the hell you want to call it, from the Safety FM studios in Orlando. Oh, yes. This right here, this right here is Chrome Heart by God Mode. You can give it a little streamer-eamer action. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. Just so you know. So, there you go. Thanks to God Mode for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show, hour number 1 of the Jay Allen Morning Show.
Hey, you chasing your vision. Hey, You look for additions.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into the move and the groove of the things that we need to talk about. And listen, I got something important to talk about. I got some things that we need to discuss, not just today, but every day that we are here. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. That's To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information on how you can acquire help by To Write Love on Her Arms, you can go to their website, twloha.com. That's twloha.com. Go all the way to the far hand right section and click on the button that says Find Help. Telling you about all kinds of resources that are available in your area about addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support resources, and so on. So there you go. twloha.com. Click on the section that says Find Help. Listen, you might not need this information today, but you might know someone that might need this info. You never know. So I just want to make sure that we do talk about it, not just in a certain month of the year, but we talk about it frequently enough that you tend to remember it. So there you go. So let's start talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the news.
Duh.
So as we are doing that, let's talk about it. Facebook parent company Meta has been testing its new Twitter-like social media site, and experts say that it could launch soon. The app, which is being called Project 92 for now, has been offered for months to celebrities and influencers. The company gave employees a sneak peek last week. Screenshots show the mobile app with the appearance of very similar to Twitter, featuring verified users like and reshare button and messaging options. Meta has gone on record saying that it believes that there is an opportunity for a separate space where creators and public figures can share timely updates about their interests. While a launch date has not been announced, much less an official name, some reports are being called Threads say that it could be made available early as this month. So you know what this means, don't you? Now Elon's going to respond with his own version of Facebook because, that's just how it goes. And because we really need another online cesspool for humanity. I mean, I just think that that's the way that we look at it. And it's too bad that Mark Zuckerberg wasn't one who purchased Twitter. He could have renamed it to Zuckerbird. You get it? Zuckerbird. Okay. No bueno.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so just like everything else, the cost of getting married has jumped up significantly in recent years, but it seems that some couples aren't shy about asking total strangers for financial help. A Reddit user known as Synchron_High posted a pic of a car in his neighborhood that has the phrase "just married" written on the back window, along with the couple's Venmo username. Venmo is a mobile app, just in case you don't know, to receive payments. The Reddit user uploaded the photo of the wedding shaming subreddit, writing, "This is as tacky as it gets. Not even buy a bride a drink, just money, please. Disappointed in my neighbor, shaking my head. At least she was kind enough to redact the couple's username and license plate in the use of the photo." In the Reddit chat, Synchron_High wrote that they saw the parked car in Mount Lake Terrace near Seattle. The post received more than 1,200 upvotes and greedy label from members of the wedding shaming subreddit. Tacky, yes, but if you've ever visited the wedding shaming subreddit, you know that this might be the classiest thing that's ever been on there. Tacky, yes, also tacky, belonging onto the internet group indicated that shaming people involved in weddings. So I don't know. Listen, I have a hard time understanding a lot of weird things that go on. Like, if you take a look at this, there are people that are out there that do these live streams, and they will do all kinds of weird stuff. Like, they're Patreons. They will do the thing where it's like, hey, let's go ahead and let's do buy me a coffee and all this other weird shit, because that's how they're trying to get money. And it's more ran like a charity than ran as a business. So I don't know. I mean, everybody does things differently. You have to do whatever is best for you and what you are trying to accomplish. I don't know. I mean, You do you. Maybe we should just do it that way. You do you.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
I know. I mean, I just think it's kind of funny because I still have, people that come up to me and they're like, oh, you have that show where they say the dirty words on it. It's like, what dirty words? It's all in the perspective on how you put it. Really? I mean, I even had somebody tell me that I have that X-rated show. It's like, what the hell are you listening to? Because I don't think it's X-rated, but thanks for bringing that up. It might be giving me some ideas now, that's for sure. Anyways, take a listen to this as we are talking, because we need to talk about it. But Americans are feeling more optimistic that inflation is on its way down. Mark Mayfield reports.
The New York Federal Reserve's latest survey of consumer expectations showed the inflation outlook hit a two-year low in May. It fell 0.3% to a 4.1% rate. The survey also found household finances remain solid, with spending expected to rise about 5.5% over the next year. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that. Take a listen to this. A woman is recovering after waking up inside of a coffin at her own funeral. Now, I didn't say that wrong. Take a listen.
It happened Friday in Ecuador, where mourners were gathered to say goodbye to 76-year-old Bella Montoya, declared dead from cardiorespiratory arrest. That diagnosis was a bit premature. She started banging against the side of the coffin. Medics quickly administered aid and later determined she suffered from catalepsy, a condition that causes a trance-like state, slower bodily functions, and body rigidity. Her son calls it a miracle from God and said his mother is stable and on oxygen. I'm Michael Kastner.
Now, think about that for a moment, because I really want you to put this in perspective. Imagine that you embalmed the body. What happened there? Or imagine the other side of the sequence, and if you said, well, let's go ahead and just get her ashes. Could you imagine this? I mean, what a total cluster. Just think about that for a moment. Anyways, after talking about that story, I really think we need some John Smalls in our life for him to tell us about what the hell is going to get us motivated. So let's do that. Right? No, seriously, let's do that now.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by RC. John Wayne said, "One look that works is better than 20 lines of dialogue." The Duke. He grew up in Iowa with the name Marion Morrison, and then he landed firmly in the hearts of many on a saddle or in a battle on a big screen. And he's right. One look that works is better than 20 lines of dialogue. When we were raising our children, my wife had this look down. She could get the kids to do whatever she needed them to do with a single look. You may know the one I'm talking about. John Wayne knew it. Now, I wonder who would win a face-off between my wife and the Duke. They're both from Iowa, but I think I'd put money on my wife. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. European Journal of Clinical Nutrition published a paper where they took a look at 80 obese individuals that were insulin resistant and divided them into 4 groups. The groups included diets with moderate amount of protein from animal sources, moderate amounts of protein from plant sources, high amounts of protein from animal, and high amounts of protein from plant sources. What the scientists discovered was that both groups that consumed high amounts of protein from animal and plant sources both had extreme improvement between 60 and 90% in insulin sensitivity after only 1 month. This study once again demonstrates the importance of incorporating more protein into your diet and how much this can help with improving biomarkers and body's ability to handle insulin. For more information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
So there you go, 53 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do on this lovely Tuesday. No, seriously, it's definitely a lovely Tuesday. So with that being said, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out and do the things that we do on that side of the equation. So don't worry about that. If you want to come out, hang out with us, and do everything we do over there. If you don't want to do that, you can stay on Safety FM, which is not a problem whatsoever, and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus, where he will tell you about the business of safety consulting, because that's what he does. So he'll do that on the top of the hour, coming up here very shortly. In regards of what is going on, you'll just have to stay on Safety FM to take a listen to what is going on. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk real quick about some things that happened back on this date. As I take a look around real quick, if I go all the way back to, let's go back to 2010. The Japanese Habuya space probe returns to Earth from a nearby asteroid. The probe was the first successful return dust and material from the asteroid. The data collected is still being studied today. That happened back in 2010, just so you know. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about that. 70 Shake turns 26. Aaron Taylor Johnson turns 33. Cody Walker turns 35. Kate Denning, Mary Kate Olsen, and Ashley Olsen all turned 37. Luke James, 39. Chris Evans turns 42 today. Steve-O turns 49. Rivers Cuomo turns 53. Tim Allen turns 70. And Malcolm McDonald turns 80 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays that are going on that side of the equation. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those as well. It's National Weed Your Garden Day, International Axe Throwing Day, World Softball Day, National Sewing Machine Day. Do people still have those? And National Call Your Doctor Day. Yeah, call a doctor. Yeah, somebody call me a doctor. Maybe we'll listen to that from Van Halen here very shortly. Maybe we'll do that at the top of the hour as we are talking. If I'm taking a look at some whack facts for today, let's talk about some of those. Due to Earth gravity, it is impossible for a mountain to be higher than 49,000 feet or 15,000 meters. From the Middle Ages until the 18th century, a barber's duty also included dentistry, bloodletting, minor operations, and bone settling. Think about that. Genetically, a fungus is more closely related to animals than plants. The pin that holds the hinge together is called a pintle. Canadian law requires that a citizen to answer math questions to collect sweepstake prizes. And Taylor Swift's keyboard is named Karina de Piano. Not a joke. Look it up. I'm not joking as I tell you that. I'm being dead serious as well as I say those things. Even though it does sound like we'll call it malarkey, just to kind of keep it clean here. Malarkey. Maybe that's the better way of doing that. So with that being said, let me do this. If you need a random joke for today, let me give you one of those. I'm quitting my job to pursue my true passion, not having a job. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What awful movie do you love? There's so many. Really, there's so many. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. According to a survey of dads, 65% have already told their kids what they want. This for Father's Day. What is it? It's steak. They want steak. That's what they're looking for, steak. Anyway, so before I forget, if you have not been in the loop, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Conklin Conference coming up in September, the end of September to be exact, September the 27th through the 29th. The Conklin Conference featuring Jen Long, Bob Edwards, Mark Yeston. To find out more information, of course, Todd Conklin's going to be there. And, of course, I'll be there hosting. But if you want to find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io to find out some more information on what the hell is going on over there. We'd love to see you in Orlando, end of September the 27th through the 29th. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.io for more information. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to pretty much sum up our time together. Like I said, top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be a value. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be a value. I will tell you, some of the most successful people that I know, that's exactly what they wanted to do, was be a value to others. Keep that in mind as we are talking. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Tell me in the Porsche in the 6 lane. I'm big fish, I'm big game. Yeah, now they wanna be friends. Man, language switch, y'all are now speaking French. I speak Dutch, yeah, I'm from the Netherlands. I've been on the path, I've been with the raps. Ik ga toch aan, ik ga toch naar de maan. Ja, ik ben weer op al die verses. Ik denk terug aan